Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. My friends, thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for my life. My glorious, my glorious life. My glorious, my glorious, my glorious life. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. I want to say thank you. Oh, thank you. All right. Give yourselves a hug. Have a seat. Go ahead and have a seat. We have a treat for you.
We're Gypsy Soul. This is a song called Be the Change, inspired by the Gandhi quote, be the change you wish to see in the world. We decided to write an entire song around that theme.
We are flesh and bone, we are parts unknown, and we are ashes, we are dust, and we are rogues and kings, we are bold extremes, and we are jury, we are judge. And we are strength and heart, we are miles apart. We are one, we are love, and we are hopes and dreams, we are noble beings, and we are diamonds in the rough. Sight of all we are, forgotten history and its scars, reduced ourselves to doubt and fear, given up what we hold dear. Freedom is one and four, lives are lost and souls are born, but lasting freedom lives inside, within our hearts and in our minds. Be the change you wish to see. Be the peace that sets you free. Yeah. Be the love you want to feel. Be the cure that helps you heal. Be the dreams that you desire. Be the spark of your
sing Gypsy Soul. As I understand it, they'll have CDs out on the patio. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Unity of Walnut Creek. I'm Beth Bottorff Seidenspinner. It's my pleasure to welcome you all here this morning. And if you would, please join me in welcoming our friends online who are joining us. Thank you. Your presence adds to our spiritual community, and we're truly appreciative that you're joining us here this morning. So as I said, we're blessed to have with us our musicians, Gypsy Soul. Thank you for being here. Powerful. Wonderful. So let's open our service by focusing our intention on our opening affirmation. Please join me in prayerfully and powerfully speaking it together 3 times. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Again. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. And once again, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. So let's continue by reading aloud our statement of unity. God's love is within each of us, guiding us to dynamically express our wholeness, wisdom, and abundance. We acknowledge the universal wisdom in the Christ teachings and in all spiritual paths. I now choose to open to the presence of divine love and to be changed at depth. Throughout this sacred time, God is uplifting me and through my heart, the world. And now Mike McGarvey will read from the Daily Word.
Today's word is joy. The expression of joy is often contagious. A genuine smile or an honest burst of laughter can inspire joy within the hearts of nearly everyone. Joy is one of the great rewards of my connection with God, with others, and with all life. As I give in joy, I receive joyously. When I share a tender moment with another, watch an inspiring movie, or simply think about the people I love, joy often arises. Turning within, I discover the great joy of God's gentle presence and the simplest pleasure of being one with God. My time in the silence of prayer brings me a sense of soul satisfaction as joy wells up within me. Returning to the world around me, I radiate pure joy. The psalmist said, "May God be gracious to us and bless us and make his face to shine upon us." And our affirmation for today is, one with God and all life, I radiate pure joy. Would you say it with me, please? One with God and all life, I radiate pure joy. Can we do that one more time? One with God and all life, I radiate pure joy.
So this next song, we don't have our children come in today, but we do have them at other times. This is an alternate to Walking the Light. I would teach you the song and the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are
the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Softly, preacher.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
You are a part of me.
You are the face of God.
Guess what? It's birthday Sunday. So anyone having a birthday this October, please stand. October. All you Libras.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear friends. Happy birthday to you.
I'm going to highlight a few upcoming events, the details of which can be found in your bulletin and also on our website. Today, Eat, Pray, Love, a remembrance of our 2010 homecoming. On 10/10, we returned to our spiritual home after more than a year of operating from a temporary quarters while we remodeled. Our capital campaign, called Love in Action, resulted in our new look, which reflects the love, abundance, and joy of who we are as a community. So let's celebrate together after this service. If you're interested in taking steps in joining our Unity community as a member, or if you're just interested in learning more about Unity and what Unity is, join Reverend David for our upcoming Unity membership class on Tuesday, October 4th, or Saturday, October 8th. The Unity membership class is a prerequisite to becoming a Unity member, and it's fun. Details are in your bulletin. Volunteers, and this includes just about everybody in our community. Please join us on Sunday afternoon, October 9th, from 2 to 4:30 for our new volunteer training. Whether or not you're currently volunteering, you're invited to come to this workshop on volunteering as a spiritual practice. So now I invite Louise and David DeLue.
Hi, I'm David DeLue.
And I'm Louise DeLue.
You all know we're the Toodaloos, and we want you to say Toodaloo as we sail away on the Unity Love Boat Dinner and Auction on October 15th.
Yikes, that's less than 2 weeks from now.
So, if you don't have your tickets, the time to visit our table is now.
Well, you probably should wait till after the service.
Okay, right after the service. But after that, we're into our final week of ticket sales, so please stop by and buy your ticket today.
It's going to be such a fun evening. There's going to be great food and dancing and playing with your friends. Yeah.
We're going to transform Center Concord on Clayton Road into our Lightspeed cruise ship to fabulous ports of call all in one amazing evening.
You don't want to miss this event.
Wow, Louise, where did we get these beautiful leis?
I pre-ordered it out at the table on the patio.
2 more weeks. You all can too. Your lei, lovingly donated and blessed by our own Women of Wonder, will be ready and waiting for you when you board.
Speaking of pre-ordering, part of our silent auction is already set up outside.
You can sign up for instant win play dates at our table now. They fill up so fast, so by signing up now, you'll guarantee your spot. And for those one or two of you who just can't come to the event, these instant win play dates are for you too.
So come see us out on the patio. We're set up by the door of the community room today.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
And we're going to ask Reverend David and Reverend Sheila to both please stand up for a second.
Aloha. Thank you, Deleuze. So if you're here with us for the first time, we invite you to raise your hand so we can acknowledge you. Oh, wonderful. We welcome you. And keep your hand raised so the ushers can bring you a gift of a shell lei. We also welcome those of you joining us for the first time online. Please keep your hand in the air so we can give you the gift of the shell lei. And on that lei is an affirmation that we share with you that says, just as God has a design for every shell of the sea, so God has a design for your life. We have a blessing which you'll see on the monitors once everybody gets their shell lei. And we send this blessing to you with open arms, sincerely from our hearts, as we affirm together. We love you, we bless you, and we behold the light of God shining through you. Thank you. Welcome. And so let's take a moment to greet each other, and when the music starts, we'll know that's our cue to sit.
I send my love.
This is I send my love. How's it go? Send my love over the ocean.
Yeah. Over the mountain, whatever. Okay. Here we're going.
Send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love into the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me. Please join us. I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the sea. I send my love into the heavens, and it returns to me, and it returns to me.
All right, take that deep breath. Breathe in all that love that's around you. As you breathe it out, relax, wiggle around, get comfortable as we enter into our time of prayer and meditation together. And take that deep breath and just breathe in the awareness of this amazing love that enfolds you. And as you hear and join in the music, let it be a part of that journey to the very center of your hearts.
of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
What a wonderful world. Beloved presence, it is. It is a wonderful world. A wonderful experience of living upon this gift of the earth, walking this experience of humankind, being able to find and touch your presence in the beautiful people, these beings of light that you have surrounded me with. Thank you, God. Thank you for each person, each experience. Thank you for this wonder of this world, the wonder of your presence, in which I live and move and have my being. This divine love that enfolds me and moves through me and expresses as me. Mother, Father, God, I know that we are one. I know that in that oneness, this experience that I have upon the earth is blessed constantly by the flow of your goodness in and through my being. Your radiant life in my body, lifting every cell to its highest function, bringing me physical harmony and joy, vitality. I'm so grateful for the blessing of the illumination that you are, the intelligence, the light, the understanding, the wisdom, and that guidance every moment. Beloved presence, I am so grateful that you are this beauty of the friends and family, the people I work with, and part of the spiritual community. And beloved presence, I am so grateful that you are the peace. This peace that I know within my heart. And as I surrender myself to your peace, how easy it is to let go of all concerns. For your wisdom enfolds and guides each need to fulfillment. Beloved presence, I am so grateful And I now choose to enter that place of stillness, that inner silence in which I rest at one with you, following that direction you spoke through the psalmist. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Beloved presence, infinite love. Thank you for the awareness that you are this love that I experience upon my heart. And thank you for the power to choose to send it forth. For as we radiate it from our hearts, its touch and lifts, heals, blesses, guides. And so I choose to send this radiant love into my body for wholeness and well-being. I send it to each one of those that are dear to me, blessing, healing, creating harmony between us and within their world. I radiate this love, sending it across the spiritual community, becoming a part of that light that flows through each being. I send this love to every request for prayer that has come to our center, knowing that your love lifts each into that highest fulfillment. I send your love, radiating it from my heart. I send that love across the communities in which we live. I send it across our nation. I send it across the nations of the world to heal the fears of all people and bring forth their great wisdom and compassion. And I send this love, radiating it from my heart. I send this love to all who join us in prayer, whether in mosque or synagogue, temple or church. I send this love to the earth and to the creatures of the earth and to the heart of every single person. For you are that love in every heart. And in that love, we are one. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. Please join me. Divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world. And once again, divine love flows through my heart, enfolding and blessing the world.
Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
It is so. Amen.
This is another original song. It's called Who? And in the chorus, we ask a lot of ourselves with the big questions. You get to a certain age and you start asking those questions a lot. So this is called Who?
Rejoice in the life that I've led. Will I inspire along the way? Sing in my passing. Dance upon my grave. And for whom will I be a lasting memory? For whom will I easily fade away? Do I give enough? Do I love enough? Do I live enough? Did I ever give up on anyone I shouldn't have? Do I risk enough? Do I forgive enough? Do I trust enough? Am I enough? Never give up, never give up, never give up. Never give up, never give up, never give up. Oh, yeah, never give up, never give up, never give up. Yeah. Never give up, never give up, never give up. Oh, wake from this slumber. Share in the fate that we are the sum of the choices that we make. We cannot lay down at the mercy of fate. Do I give enough? Do I love enough? Do I live enough? Did I ever give up on anyone I shouldn't have? Do I risk enough? Do I forgive enough? Do I trust enough? Am I good?
All right. Yeah, there we are. There's just so much energy in this room that the sound system gets excited sometimes. So, turn to your neighbor for just a moment and just thank them for being a part of your spiritual journey. And it's so applicable because they are a part of your spiritual journey. They're here holding a consciousness of infinite abundance, of that all-loving presence with you. And that's something we do in all blessing and holding that for each other. So thank you all. And the other thing that happens is there are a bunch of people here that keep showing up with new, different, creative, beautiful. You may notice it's a little bit different outside and inside. Yeah, so all those who made that happen, thank you. Yeah. And even as we talk, there's a labyrinth forming in the outside for the labyrinth prayer process after the service. Now, I do want to share a story with you. There was a woman who was redecorating her home. Okay, and she got to that point of her office, and this was really where she was going to be doing her work. She knew what she needed. She went out and she found this wonderful big metal desk that was going to meet her needs perfectly. She got that desk and realized that the folks she got it from didn't have any way to get it to her. So she went home and she called her friends that had pickup trucks. Now, if you've got a pickup truck, you've gotten calls like that, right? So when she described the desk and how heavy it was, these folks were wise enough to say, I don't think that's mine to do. And so suddenly she's in this position where she's got this desk, this perfect desk, going to do just right, and she can't get it to her house and get it to that room. Now, she's a person who had been in the process of spiritual growth for a while. Okay, and she was focusing, what do I do? Why isn't this manifesting? Why isn't this come? Why am I stuck here? Okay, and then she remembered reading of a way of changing what was going on, or bringing that which is not yet whole into wholeness. And her way of doing that was blessing. So she said, well, what am I going to bless? So she started blessing pickup trucks. Okay, every time one went by on the street, she'd say, I bless you, I bless the good work that you do. She'd be driving down the street and there'd be one parked over there. I bless you, I bless the good work that you do. And you know how it is when you start focusing on something, suddenly they're everywhere. So she was going along day after day just in this, I bless you, I bless the work that you do on every single pickup truck she saw. Well, several days go by and there's no movement on this problem. And she was thinking, maybe she was going to have to do that thing of actually call a moving company and, all the effort and expense. But anyhow, she was having a great time blessing the pickup truck. So she wasn't really too worried when she got a call. Now, the call was from a woman in her office. Okay, and the woman said, I wanted to let you know we've got your desk loaded on my pickup truck and we're on the way over to your house. Now, she was excited about that, but the truth is there were several reasons that made that very exciting for her. First of all, she had not told this woman that she was getting the desk or needed the pickup truck. Second of all, she didn't even know the woman had a pickup truck. And third of all, she knew the woman did not like her. And I don't mean just, didn't care for her. I mean, the woman had worked very hard to try and get her fired from her job. So as you can imagine, that call, she kind of goes, whoa, what's going on here? The woman brought the desk. They dropped it off. A couple days later, The woman comes up to her at the office and says, I want to apologize for the efforts that I made to get you fired. She said, I've really thought about it, and I'm sorry for that. And the two women went on to become friends. Now, the reason I'm sharing this with you is I want to look at a couple tools today, a couple spiritual practices that make very practical difference. And you don't get much more practical than getting the desk in the room. Okay, so I mean practical difference. Okay, so but these two tools that I'm going to share with you, one is blessing, the tool that this woman used, and another is giving, one of the primary tools used by Jesus in his demonstration of abundance and miracle. But these two tools are part of a greater growth in consciousness within us. And that's where the real depth and power is that this is about. Now, what we saw in this woman's experience wasn't just that she overcome. You know, any limitation that's in our life, the good thing you know about that, it is your limitation. You created it. It's reflecting your consciousness. Now, it's not a complete reflection of your consciousness, because also within your awareness, you didn't bring anything forward but to step into the wholeness of the divine presence there. That's the only way God works. God doesn't know part. Okay, but we, in our growth, often have to go through steps of bringing forth that wholeness. So very often we get to a step where we've got something going on, we've got our desk, and it's not the place we need it. You know, or you've got the relationship, and it's not with the person you need. Or you got the person you need, but you haven't worked out your stuff yet. You know, we do it different ways, okay? And so what happened here? There's always, the wholeness is always there. If we aren't experiencing it as wholeness, then it's because there is a further step to bring it into manifestation, because it exists in potential. God has no partial concept. It's when you are everything. Piece doesn't count. The piece of. Now, what happened was, in her stepping into wholeness, as she did this using the idea of blessing, using the practice of blessing, she was reaching into that wholeness. She was reaching to bring it forth. But also in that process, as wholeness comes forth, it just doesn't come forth in that place that we're focused on. For her, it was a desk. It comes forth in our life because we have let a greater flow of spiritual energy in and through us. Now, if you look at the experience of blessing, okay, first of all, it's in every spiritual tradition. You know, you go to one of those beautiful Hindu temples, what are they going to do? They're going to bless you. Okay, you go into a Jewish synagogue, they're going to bless you. It is a part of every spiritual practice, the experience of blessing, because it is so powerful that intentionally acknowledging this greater presence and goodness that is coming forth in your life. Okay, now, when that comes forth, blessing has a feeling to it, doesn't it? Okay, and that feeling, many of us have worked with the feeling of appreciation. Very simple, similar, isn't it? It has that heart feeling, that feeling of fullness and goodness. Now, those of you who have done the heart math work with me, you remember the science that showed us when we go into that feeling in the heart, we literally change this biophysical instrument. And we change it so that, and in my perception, it is more that is open to a greater flow of spiritual energy in and through us. And that's what's happening with blessing. You are opening yourself to a greater flow of spiritual energy. You're directing it with your intention, and you're powering it through the feelings of love in your heart that are part of blessing and appreciation. And so that's why it may seem like a very simple thing, but that's why it has such spiritual power to it. But when I look at Jesus' work, he combined blessing with giving. It was that caused change and manifestation. So let me share. Usually I don't read quite this much Jesus, but I want to share with you 3 experiences. Okay, the first one's the miracle of the feeding of the 5,000. Then we'll do the 4,000. Then we'll do where he comments to the disciples on the process. So we get to really see the steps of how he's working here. And remember that when we see the experience of Jesus, we're seeing the experience of this way shower, of this one who, as he stepped into the fullness of the Christ consciousness, was basically demonstrating to us how we get there, how we use the spiritual energy we're a part of to create consciously and intentionally as he did. So let me get back up to the top here. First one, Matthew 14. As evening approached, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a remote place, and it is already getting late. Send the crowds away so that they can go to the villages and buy themselves some food." Jesus replied, "They do not need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We have only 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish," they answered. "Bring them here to me," he said. And he directed the people to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and looking up to heaven, he gave thanks. Blessing. He gave thanks and broke the loaves. Then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people. Giving. Blessing. Giving. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate was about 5,000 men, besides women and children. Okay, then the next experience. Okay, this happens really fairly shortly thereafter. Again, after speaking with a huge crowd of people, Jesus called his disciples to him and said, "I have compassion for these people. They have already been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. I do not want to send them away hungry, as they might collapse on the way." His disciples answered, "Where could we get enough bread in this remote place to feed such a crowd?" "How many loaves do you have?" Jesus said. 7, they replied, "and a few small fish." You ever been at that place? Not enough pickups. You know? That's all I got. Need so much. 7 and 2 fish. He told the crowd, "Sit down on the ground." Then he took the 7 loaves and the fish, and when he had given thanks, blessing. When he had given thanks, he broke them and gave them to the disciples, and they in turn to the people. So the giving. They all ate and were satisfied. Afterward, the disciples picked up 7 basketfuls of broken pieces that were left over. The number of those who ate were 4,000, besides women and children. Okay, so we have these 2 demonstrations of abundance. The ability to bring forth from what Charles Fillmore called the universal substance, this divine presence and energy that is everywhere present, that responds to your direction and power as a spiritual being to draw it forth. Having done this then, he's off with the disciples, and they discover they have a problem. Okay, they've only got 1 loaf of bread left. Aware of their discussion, Jesus asks them, "Why are you talking about having no bread? Do you still not see or understand? Are your hearts hardened? Do you have eyes but fail to see, and ears but fail to hear? And don't you remember when I broke the 5 loaves for the 5,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up?" 12, they replied. "And when I broke the 7 loaves for the 4,000, how many basketfuls of pieces did you pick up?" They answered, 7. He said to them, "Do you still not understand?" Okay, now, and there's some other translations of this where it looks as though he's saying to them, "Don't you get it? It's not about the bread." Okay, do you still not understand? What he does here is he goes to those things that talk about perception. Okay, the ears to hear, the eyes to see. So in this perception, this perceiving capability, he's saying, yours aren't awake. You really aren't hearing what's really there. You really aren't seeing what's there. You aren't perceiving the goodness that is here. And now the perceiving power that you have is your faith. Okay, that's the understanding. Now, I don't use the word faith very much because I don't like it. And that's because it immediately creates so many different understandings that it's more confusion. Okay, to some folks from the backgrounds that we've got, faith means the spiritual club you belong to. Okay, and there's good clubs and bad clubs, okay? And to some of us, it means that I take something on faith, which means somebody in authority that may or may not know what they're talking about tells you how it is and you believe them. Okay, we don't do that here either. Because if you don't believe me, you're supposed to not believe me. You respect your wisdom, not mine. Okay, that's just the way we choose to do it in unity. Because your faith is your perceiving ability, your ability to perceive the divine presence, to perceive and understand and be aware of this universal substance that Jesus was calling on. So I said, you don't see it. I mean, there we were, and we didn't have enough, and it was all there, and I called it forth. That it responded to our need when we were willing to bless it, to step into that place of acknowledging the wholeness and the goodness, giving thanks for that, and we were willing to give from what we had so that it might multiply. Those two things. And it's not about the stuff. The woman's life would have been no different if she didn't have a metal desk in her office. That is not a quality, a spiritual quality, but it's darn convenient. Okay? But as you call forth, you move forward, and you are empowered and directed for everything that takes you forward on the purpose of your life. And you have the ability to call it into manifestation. And one of the things that we do here in this spiritual community is we seek to practice these things collectively. As we do, we strengthen that faith, that perceiving ability in all of us. And as each one of you make that breakthrough in your life and you see that and call it forth, your consciousness supports all of us. So that together we are able to be a transformative presence in each other's lives, in this greater community, and in the greater work of transformation that we serve. So the experience of blessing is very important for us. And that's what we're going to be doing after the service today. We're going to have our time of prayer and food, and we're going to come back in here, and we are going to intentionally focus and bless this place and this work. Now, sometimes that blessing we do because we're stuck and we don't know how to move forward. And it's a good tool for that. But it's also done at the point where we're ready for our next step. Okay, many of you have come to points in your life where you've accomplished the things before you. You've got the career or the family or whatever was the work, the experience within you, you brought it into harmony. And then that's the time for the blessing and the giving, because from that flow comes your greater purpose and your greater work. That you can step forward in that service that the divine presence within you is calling you for. So in both times, these skills make such a difference. Now, Jesus again and again and again in his work first gives, and we see it working. I found delightful the experience of a Unity counselor. I got a call from a woman who said, you know, I'm out of money. I don't have anything to feed my family. Now, she was a single parent. She was a widow. Her children were all young. And she's in a position of not being able to feed her children. And so the counselor responded to her and said, well, you aren't experiencing a flow of abundance. So the first thing you have to do is give. Said, What can you give? The woman said, I don't have anything to give. You ever been there? And the woman said, that's not the truth. You have something to give. Find it. So she instructed her, first, you find out what it is you have to give, and you give it. You give it freely, you give it joyously, and then go back and set your table. Make it nice and beautiful and prepare for a wonderful meal. And then sit down and do that list of food, because you're going to have to go get it and cook it and put it on that table. So the woman looked around, and she had a rose bush growing outside the window. So she went out and cut the roses and took a jar she had and went over to her neighbor. The neighbor lady had been sick for a while, so she took the roses over there and gave them to her. And of course the woman was delighted, and and imagine this, when you're stuck in that thing of, oh, poor me. Now I know you don't go there. She was probably there. No, oh, poor me. Okay. And you go and somebody says, oh, how beautiful, how wonderful, thank you. Does that change your consciousness? So she gave the flowers, and then she went in. She had the kids all came together, and they all set the table, and they made it beautiful, and they put flowers on the table. Now, setting the table is the experience of blessing. Okay, because you can't sit there and ask kids to set a table and tell them there's not going to be any food and they aren't going to eat. That's not possible. They won't accept it. They know when you set the table, food's going to show up. Okay, so they set the table, and in that, affirming the presence of a wonderful meal. And then she sat down and she started to do her list of what she wanted to get, not just for anything, but for a really nice meal. She didn't get to finish it because the doorbell rang. So she goes to the door, opens the door, and here's a lady she hasn't seen for a long time, who says to her, now you may not remember me, but quite some time ago, I needed some money and you loaned me some money. And she said, the truth is, I had completely forgot about it. I was driving through the neighborhood and remembered you live here. And that made me remember when I owed you, so I came on over because I happen to have that much. Here you are. So she went out, got the food on her list, and served the meal to the family. Giving and blessing. Okay, and where was the change? Within the self. As we change, the world changes. Because it is created from center to circumference. Okay, that's the way creation takes place. And you know it's there. Okay? Whatever happens, you know that goodness is hanging out there just waiting for you to get it together. Because God is good. All the time. God is good. All the time. And all the time. God is good. All the time. God is good. All the time. God is good. You got it. Yeah. And how do you get that goodness moving? Okay, by the blessing and the giving. And that's what we're going to be doing at our service. We're going to do our blessing, do our giving, because that greater faith, that ability to perceive that wonderful divine love and goodness that wants to fill your life is such a joy. And that's why we're here, both to receive for ourselves and to hold for each other. Bless you.
So if you'd like prayer support for challenges or celebrations, please ask one of our heart ministers. They'll be in the sanctuary and out on the patio after the service. You'll know them by the lavender sashes that they're wearing. You're also invited to place a prayer request in the prayer box by the front door or in the book center, or by pressing the prayer request button online, and we'll be praying with you all week long. So it's now time for a prosperity celebration.
Okay, so I get to do this today because, first of all, I want to acknowledge one simple, caring change. If you look on in the pocket in front of your seat and pull that out, the envelopes that's there, you'll see there's a little card there that lets you put something on your credit card. Now, I realized I came to this church and I don't carry much cash with me, and I haven't used a checkbook in years. And so it finally occurred that it was really possible to use these normal methods of financial transactions. So that's there, but I wanted you, there is a place on there where it says for special projects or events. And I would like you to consider joining in, if you haven't had a chance to be a part of our Love in Action and the commitment that has brought forth our new buildings and that continues to sustain that part of our wonderful community. I'd like you to consider making a commitment to that above that which you regularly give, so that it helps us step up and meet those that financial possibility and flow within us. I'd like you to take, and as we go through our love offering, to prayerfully look at joining in with that. And now if you're going to come back at our service, we're going to receive that in our special service. I invite you to take it with you and bring it back then. And if you're not going to, and you'd like to join us in that, then please put it in the offering when it's received here. Well, if you remember, every time you've come here and we receive an offering, we bless it, because we really seek to work these powerful spiritual tools for our community and for each of us individually. So I invite you to go to your heart and let's just take a moment to feel that appreciation. Feel that appreciation of that divine love that is the source of all your good. And in that's always where to ask for what to give, because you are its instrument. So gently asking, again, for whatever it is that you choose to give this day, and if you choose to add to that a commitment to our love and action, asking for that wisdom. Mother, Father God, we are so grateful for your guidance, and we join together in blessing these gifts. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are so grateful. Thank you, God.
If Spirit takes you, clap your hands with us, please, on this song.
The art of being human. Every sage and drifter still a student, more alike than it would seem. All children in this brilliant dream, searching for what's right and true. All get lost and all stumble. God knows I got reason to be humble, and I'm seeking the path that I was born for. In the lost garden we all were born. I will live, I
Okay. Our children are close to Yosemite, having a ball. They aren't going to come back and join us for our service. So I want to invite you in sending a blessing to them and to that very special child within you. Together, children, you are loved, special, and important. God loves you, and so do we. All right. And our labyrinth is set up, and there's information out there on walking the labyrinth. It is a beautiful process of prayer, and I invite you before we eat and during our lunch, and even as we're returning here and going through the service, to give yourself that opportunity to, when you get a chance, go ahead and walk the labyrinth, experience that centering process of prayer that's there. And because people will be there in prayer, I invite you to just hold that place of quiet and stillness as you go back and forth. And the community room is beautiful and decorated and filled with food for a light lunch, so we can just have a little food, come back, and then enter into our service of blessing. So let's receive our gifts. Mother, Father, God, we are so grateful for that commitment that flows through this center, and that commitment on each of our hearts to touch this world in a way that brings forth its wholeness, its beauty, and its peace. In the Christ joy. Amen. So let's stand and take hands and share together our prayer of protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And our peace song. And our peace song. There, it's coming. All right, yes.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God ever present, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
You are the love and the light and the peace in the earth right now. So let it shine and have fun.